and welcome to the channel. My name is Annalisa and today I'm doing a sketchbook tour. So I haven't totally filled this sketchbook, but there's quite a few things to show you. And so this is my pencil sketchbook. So what I do in here is I basically do practice for things. So in this case I was doing practice for faces, so I took a photo specifically of one of my favorite characters from TV. I like to do this whenever I'm watching a particular show. So in this case I was watching NCIS, and the character Ziva has a really interesting facial structure and I think she's very pretty, so I decided to find a photo of her that was kind of a neutral expression and see if I could capture it at all decently. This isn't super great, but I can tell that it's her, so that's something. And something else I wanted to practice was rendering a realistic style into a smaller version of more my style, what I use in my paintings, so that I can like figure out how I might portray different types of faces and physical characteristics in this other style, because sometimes I get stuck in kind of a rut and all of the ones that are in my style kind of look the same. And this one worked out kind of medium well for that. I think she has, I think you can kind of still tell that it's a vague drawing of Ziva, so that's something. Then the other thing that I do in the sketchbook is figure out ideas. So in this case I was trying to think of ideas for little designs and little cute things I could do in marker, and that I could then turn into designs for stickers or t-shirts or whatever. And so this is a drawing of the sweet little cat from Aristocats, the little girl kitten, and I was trying to figure out what might be a good way to cartoonize a kitten, because when I try to cartoonize from a photo of a kitten, whoops, it hasn't worked out well thus far. So then I was trying to figure out how to draw ears and cute little crowns and fallish things. When did I start this? I guess it was back in around October, because this is a preliminary sketch of an idea for my Dizzy dragon that I drew during Inktober. And then these ones were drawn around December because I did a ballerina piece in December. So I decided to draw a few more and kind of practice my forms and anatomy and drawing bodies when they're in various positions, and fairly muscular ladies. They have such beautiful lines going on. And I also practice simplifying hands, because doing simple hands that don't drive me crazy is something I struggle with sometimes. Then we have another of my sketching out simple designs. So these are some ideas for Ace merch type stuff to like put on mugs and things. So just a black and white version, so imagine that this darker gray up here is purple. And those were some ideas, and then ideas for cat silhouettes, because I'm a huge cat person and I would like to own lots of things with cats on. And this was an idea, I guess this was probably in December too, because this is supposed to be a little cat coming out of a present. And I was kind of practicing on the eye shape and figuring out what's a cute shape for eyes to be, because if you can see there just faintly, there's also lines where the eyes used to be circles. So I figured out how to tip them and make a different possible way. And then this was a possible idea for a Ace cake, so like I would have purple frosting and gray filling and like black outline or something with the white cake, and have kind of an Ace flag cake, because that's like one of our kind of thematic items alongside dragons, because we prefer cake to sex is the basic idea. And then some more ideas for possible little simple drawings, because I really like potions, so I was thinking about drawing a potion bottle with something in it and then having like one of those wavy sort of papers floating across that would have the title of the potion on it. So this one's a healing one and a stamina one, and then some really ugly little dragon ideas. But I have a hard time drawing dragons because I just want to get it right. And then this is a really not so great version of what I was doing earlier, practicing faces. This is another lady with a very interesting face. So there's a show called Bones, and the main character is called Temperance Brennan, and she has also a very interesting face. She has a very square jaw, and she also makes kind of different facial expressions than a lot of people, but her chin came out way too strong in this because I was trying to represent that different shaped jaw. But her nose turned out pretty okay, and her eyes aren't terrible. This was taken from a screenshot of the show at one point where she was testifying, and it was the nicest addition that looked the most like her character and not like, you know, an actor photo shoot. That had a nice neutral expression, but the lighting around her eyes was kind of weird. I wanted to practice my shading and my, like, getting shapes to look 3D, because sometimes my cartoony style is a little too cartoony for my taste, so I practiced with a rose, just trying to get the shapes and shadows similar from a photo reference, and then I did the same for an iris. I really like how 3D the iris ended up looking. I was really unsure there in the middle because it's a very funky flower, and the individual smaller shapes that make it up don't seem to make any sense, but then when you see the whole picture together it does. So I think that really helped me learn a lot about putting shapes down, figuring out what shapes they might be, even if it doesn't make sense as a part. You gotta like plan for the whole eventually. And then I got going on a clothes designing kick, I think because I was looking at Pinterest a lot. There are tons and tons of, apparently, I guess I have graphite on my fingers now, I'm smudging it everywhere. Anyway, there are a ton of outfit designs, especially like fantasy and sci-fi type designs on Pinterest, and so I just scroll through there a lot and check out the designs and get inspired. And then I wanted to kind of figure out some clothes that some of my main characters might wear, and I really like clothes that are very kind of thick and somewhat form-fitting in that they are close to you but not like the stretchy form-fitting, kind of like old-time clothes. They were thick enough that they kind of held you in but also obscured your shape, because part of my autism possibly / asexuality just makes me want to be very cocooned in my clothes and people not able to see the shape of my body. So I was designing several looks that would accomplish that, but also have freedom of movement, because several of my characters like to fight physically, and so they need to be able to move and bend. And so these are some of the things that I came up with. I like a lot of semi-skirted things like tunics or slit skirts or things with flaps like this, because I think they look pretty and feminine, but also with them not being a full dress, you can get them out of your way quickly if you need to kick somebody or run fast. And I always have loved these across the chest button things like they have on a lot of trench coats. I adore trench coats and anything that has this type of button across look, so I always like to incorporate that. And then this is sort of a wrap thing with a skirt that's got a lot of pleats so it can swirl out and not obstruct your legs, and that's a very different looking one, but I wanted to kind of try something that was not in my usual imagined ideas for this. And then I was doing some more of that, and I don't like this one as well, partially because I didn't draw out the form of the body as well, but the basic idea of this one is this is kind of a tunic that comes down only on one side, and then she's got a sash across, because I really do like royalty and military wear sashes sometimes, and I think they look really cool. So then I also decided to do like a magic staff or a spear. This could be a blade or a magical gem that shoots lightning, you know, either way. And a cute knife, and then some flowers and a butterfly, because that's what I was in the mood to draw right then. And then I was very much in the butterfly mood apparently, because I practiced a bunch of different butterflies. So you might have noticed I really like to draw fairies, and so a lot of ideas for fairies have butterfly wings, and so the more I practice different types of butterfly wings, the more I can like come up with ideas on my own and like come up with them on the fly and combine them and come up with different ideas. So that's why I like to practice drawing real butterflies. Like this one is a monarch butterfly, and then also imaginary butterflies. This design is taken from this fairy on my little what's it called, desk drawer thingy. And then I was practicing more how to draw cute cats, because that is a skill that I wish to have. And this one is referenced from a photo, and that worked out pretty well because this particular cat has a very round face and nice big ears, and it took a lot of work to get the head and ear shape right, but finally it worked out alright, and we have a cute little cat, and he's a tabby because he's got the little stripes on his head. He's so cute. Then I went back to outfit design, and this time I was taking more direct inspiration from Pinterest, so I was combining a few things and taking down my favorite ideas. So I really like bows, and I really also like skirts that kind of go out a lot, and that way they kind of stay away from your legs and out of the way, but you get the pretty factor. And I also love sleeves that are puffed. Any kind of puff sleeves, but one fun kind is where they're puffed the entire upper arm and then kind of gathered into smaller, tighter sleeves on your forearm. I think that's really fun. And this one, the ideas didn't come across quite as well, but it was a really cool looking tunic with a gathered puffy shirt, because puffy shirts are also very cool. And I also really like little old-fashioned tie scarf things around the neck. I was getting inspired by the things around my room. I'll go get these. One of these I was looking at while I was drawing it, and one I was not, so I wasn't looking at this one, which is taken from this little guy. I was looking at it while I was riding on my bike, and I was thinking, I would like to draw that. So I drawed something a little bit similar. And then I wanted to do kind of another castle to like round out the page. And so I went to my other model castle that I have. It's Dunrobin Castle, and it is in Scotland. And there is actually a TV show about this castle, or that is filmed in this castle. And I really like that TV show. And anyway, this is this was built, I think, in the 1800s, and so it's not an old castle, but it was just built by a rich person who wanted a castle, and it's very pretty. So the angle is kind of like from there that I drew it, and this is how it came out. So not perfect, and this was again an exercise in practicing my planes and angles and getting all that right. And also taking down ideas for how to draw imaginary castles. And then we have some more armor, once again Pinterest inspired. This one was inspired because it is after a favorite character from a favorite video game, Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn. And so there's a character named Titania who has gorgeous, like, Ariel red hair, and she is a knight who has this big axe that she wields, and she's in this full plate armor, and it's really gorgeous. And so I did some fan art of her armor to kind of inspire me for how I might design my own armor. And then this is another idea for what might go on with armor. Pauldrons are particularly easy to mess with because they're kind of out of the way. They're not going to bother you when you're fighting unless you do something, unless they're, you know, ridiculously huge. So you can put a lot of cool designs on them and have them be fun shapes. I saw one on Pinterest the other day that had like eagles' heads with the beak kind of pointing out this way. That was really cool looking, so I really like fancy smancy pauldrons. This is the last one. It started with drawing the feather quill, which was loosely based on my own. That's why I put the little, come on, it's got the little ink nib thing there. And from there I thought, what should go with this on the same page? So I thought maybe some paper for it to write on, and a little inkwell. And so then I was thinking, maybe this is a desk, and so what might else be on the desk? So these are like little coins, And then I thought maybe I should just draw the actual desk. So I did something that kind of approximates some of the box desks or folding desks that I've seen. So it has these swoopy little dividers and some drawers, and that was partially to practice for possibly eventually a scene that includes a desk like this, but also to practice my perspective, because there's a lot of like parallel lines and figuring out if this is at this angle, this needs to be at this angle. So I tried to keep it all of the same perspective. Did okay with it. So that is what I have been doing in my sketchbook for the last 9 months, I guess. The links that I provided during my last video relating to Black Lives Matter will be in the description again, along with a few more. So check out the description if you want more information on that or ways you can help. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!